but without further ado, I'm sitting here with Bailey Hanley. She's a multifaceted mentor and coach, blending expertise in venture capital, tech, finance, wellness, nonprofits, and coaching. As the founder of Clarity, she offers a unique approach that balances scientific, logic-based methodologies with holistic and spiritual practices. Bailey's diverse background includes nutrition, finance, executive coaching, personal training, yoga, and allowing herself to address the complex interplay between personal well-being and professional achievement. That was a mouthful. Bailey, so happy to be here with you and realize that we had the same best friend who was my first kiss.
You say had, like she's very much alive and thriving in my world.
Yeah. No, I need to reconnect with her.
You do. She's bought a house.
Really? Mm-hmm. Over in Hilliard maybe, right?
Plain City.
Okay.
She's bought in Plain City, but she's been in Hilliard for a long time.
That's fantastic. So
Bailey, we love you.
Bailey, we love you. That was a whole mouthful.
Yeah, that was a lot of information.
Can you break some of that down for me? Would love to hear your story from as early as you want to go and how you got here today.
Interesting. Okay. As early as I want to go, it was a cold February morning. It was the Super Bowl, and I was born. Looking back now, I think when I entered, the professional world, I would have said like, oh yeah, my career started when I was like 20. But I think that it started much earlier than that. Just a lot of the like founding principles of it. Less of that. And so I, taking it back, in high school got really sick when I was about 15 or 16 and lost a lot of mobility, lost a lot of my hair, got diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder. And I reversed and healed a lot of that holistically with mindset, movement, nutrition.
Wow.
So that instantly, like when you think of a 15, 16-year-old who is active in sports and activities, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I can't eat hardly anything anymore, and I can't move, and I can't do all these things. And it really just, it's a big time to go through a shift like that. And so that informed what I did for schooling. So I went to school for health sciences and nutrition. So I was thinking like, okay, this is gonna be my life. I'm so immersed in nutrition because I want to help other people understand how this helped me get off of steroids. And
that was in high school that you realized that? Like started switching over to holistic health? What year was that?
So that was
not to date you.
No, you're fine. That was 2008, 2009.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that was kind of ahead of the movement.
It was ahead, yeah. Going to the store, you couldn't find gluten-free. Like, there was no gluten-free, there was no dairy-free. Like, you'd go that's why, like, team dinners, spaghetti, lasagna. That right there was a crock of fire for me. It was like gluten, nightshade plants, dairy, things that were high in the glycemic index, like things that would just be, like, highly inflammatory.
Yeah.
It was very othering. It was a very othering experience. But I knew how much better I felt when I wasn't dealing with my symptoms of my autoimmune disorder. So it was kind of like, you know what, pick your battles. If you want to eat chicken and broccoli forever, then you can eat chicken and broccoli. I don't anymore. I'm good now. I eat what I want.
Really? So what was the process of being able to, I guess, heal yourself? To eat what you want?
Learning what triggered me. So autoimmune, it's challenging because everybody's triggered by different things. For me, I found that hormone imbalances, stress, and a lack of sleep, like those are my three. That's the trifecta of what will ruin me.
Yeah.
And like little subtle things like weather change, like change in the barometric pressure, that can kind of affect like my mobility. Like my joints right now are a little swollen. It's 13 degrees outside.
Yeah.
But I sleep well, I move my body, I work with my mind, like I work with the frequency that I've got going on inside of me, and that helps me.
Totally. And then
my grandfather was also a medicine man. Like he was a holistic doctor from age 5. He was mailing me USPS boxes of like rocks and oils and VHS yoga tapes. So I've been doing yoga since I was 5.
Wow.
And that was primarily because my mom was like, don't wake me up before 7. And I was an early riser. And she was like, you need to find something quiet to do. And so I would take one of those VHS tapes, I'd plug it in, and I would sit there and do yoga every morning. And to me, it wasn't, when you're 5, you don't, what's a fad? Like, you don't know, you're just living, you're just, it's your world. And so for me, it was like, this feels really good. It feels really good to be in my body. And so when I felt ill, he was right there with me every week then, mailing, like, take these supplements, rub this on your scalp where you've lost your hair, drop this under your tongue, do all of this, rest like this, only shop the perimeter of the grocery store, nothing with more than this many ingredients. Like,
Right.
he was way ahead of his time.
Yeah. So my mom, who also knows Bailey and was neighbors with her in the same neighborhood, was ahead of the game too with all of that. Like, I remember like cursing her name because we weren't able to eat Kraft macaroni and cheese. We weren't able to eat like Pop-Tarts. Like, we'd have
I
one.
was not allowed to have Barbies because there were like hormones in the plastic correlated to like ovarian
So you were
cancer.
next level compared to her. 'Cause
We were like,
she was ahead of the game with like all the cardboard tasting food that she would have us eat, because they didn't really have good food back then that was like healthy,
Yeah.
like they do today. But your
wasn't
family
as
was like
accessible.
even another next level to that, I feel like.
It may have been.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. It may
So
have
then,
been.
so then catch me up. So then you went to
Okay,
high
so-
school, college. How did you get into
Yes.
like the professional
Everything
world?
else.
Yeah.
Why are you saying nutrition's not professional?
No, but like professional
no.
world after like school.
So while I was in college, I was a teller at a credit union. It beat the heck out of my friends that were bartending, staying out till 2 a.m, having to work. I worked a 9 to 5. I had holidays off. I had banker's hours. I had 4 weeks paid time off, and I had my own benefits at the age of 18. And to me and the way I grew up, I really craved that stability. I really craved what that job was able to give me. I could live a life outside of that I enjoyed. So I personal trained and did health coaching on the side. And I ended up staying in the credit union world for about 10 years.
Nice.
So through all of that time, they invested in me and I invested in them. I enjoyed it. Credit unions are co-ops, they're not for profits. I enjoy the business model of the credit union. I enjoy the way that they integrate within a community and how they give back to communities. And so
Is
during
that how
my
you got
time-
your exposure into nonprofits? Nice.
Yep. So during that time, I eventually went into being a personal banker. Then I got to be a certified financial counselor. So I helped build out all of our financial literacy for financial flexibility and freedom, and teaching that to not just nonprofits, but the employees of the nonprofits, the volunteers of the nonprofits, and the community that the nonprofit was serving. So helping teach financial literacy, doing some work with businesses as well, helping them understand business banking. And with that too, there's lending, and lending is very similar to investing, where it's like,
Right.
why won't you get an investment? Why won't why won't we lend to you? And helping people, not just saying no, move on, no, and here's why, here's what you can do, come back in a year and we'll talk.
Totally.
So during that time, I finished out my time at the credit union overseeing our business development and community engagement. So I worked with a lot of nonprofits, I worked with a lot of community-based organizations, and one of which was called Hanley, which is the VC firm that I left the credit union to join. They're
Gotcha.
based in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
So they had programming running here in Columbus called Philanthropitch. Philanthropitch is like a Shark Tank for nonprofits. So you teach business modeling, pro forma, unit economics, how to pitch to nonprofit executive directors and CEOs. And then they would get up on stage and do this big competition. It'd be like between 5 and 7 finalists. And we raised $1.2 million
Wow.
of unrestricted grant funding.
That's outstanding.
Which is unheard of for nonprofits,
Right.
because it's like with boards and grant dollars, it's like they're so highly stipulated on what you can use the money for, what you can't. And it's like, if you're going to go throw $25K at some founder that, is living with 8 other people in a 1-bedroom apartment and has no success record, like, why won't you invest $25K in this nonprofit that's been around for 22 years?
Exactly.
And you aren't instilling trust in them when they've got the acumen. Not
Totally.
saying that like startup founders don't deserve funding also. That's a different conversation.
Yeah. And so what role did you have once you went to the venture space?
Yeah, so I was the market director for Columbus. So kind of
Okay.
equal parts. My roles there, it was working closely coaching and mentoring executive directors and CEOs of nonprofits, bringing on board, it was a bench of support to those founders, CEOs, and executive directors called catalysts is what they were coined as, and then fundraising. And then also understanding, what else exists here in Columbus that Notley could potentially invest in to help get more so it's a nonprofit for-profit model. They
Gotcha.
had their investment portfolios on one side, the profits from that, a portion of them were funding the impact work that was happening with the nonprofits. And so it was figuring out, what exists here that we could invest in, that could turn around and fund some of the work that we're doing with the impact community.
Yeah. And are you still there?
I am not. So
Yeah. So give us a picture of like where you're at today.
yes. So
and how do you
today,
balance all these things?
Well, my aura ring says I do a really good job.
Let's go. I love that.
So today, well, long story short, market kind of investments didn't look so hot for a minute, and so the philanthropy side of Notley closed down. So I was let go. Well, everybody was laid off.
What year was that?
That was 2023.
Okay. Yeah, I remember when I was at my last company, we were going through the biggest struggle bus ever trying to get
Literally.
funds raised.
Nobody's refinancing their houses anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing anything with money. Yeah. So I stepped into tech for a bit, just helping out with some business development efforts for a local firm. I really appreciated what they did. I appreciated that they worked with nonprofits. I found out overall that it was not going to be the best fit for me. I am not motivated and inspired and energized to learn about technology.
Yeah.
I'm a human.
Right. I love that.
I know. I'm just going to be honest. And so from there, I was like, you know what? This work is draining me. It's taking up a lot of my time and my energy. I am actively turning away work that I want to do, working with founders, working with creatives, working with wellness practitioners. I'm a coach at heart. No matter what I've been doing, whether it's school for nutrition, personal training, wellness coaching, being a financial counselor, people are coming to me with these problems. They want my help. They're trusting me. They're telling me these are the problems they have, but really those are just symptoms to like a root behavior. Mm-hmm. Like people act out with their health and their finances and all of those things. At this point, I've worked with Denison and OSU, and I'm working with student entrepreneurs, and I'm like, forget it. I'm just leaving the tech firm. If as soon as I clear my space and my energy to have the time to really pour into what I care about, it will come, because I really do believe as soon as you are stepping into a place of doing work from the thing that you are energized by and the thing that helps you raise your frequency and helps you, like you really just feel like you have your purpose there.
Totally.
Like it becomes attractive, not like attractive in like a scientific way. Like it attracts things to you.
Exactly.
And so I did that. I quit my job on a Friday, signed 3 contracts with 3 new founders the following Monday, and was like, let's go.
That's outstanding. And so today, the practice that you run, what is your target sort of person that you're working with? Is it founders, also health people? Like, paint that picture for me.
So typically the individuals I work with are either founders or entrepreneurs. They think very entrepreneurially. They're creatives. So a lot of creative firepower, maybe don't have all the business acumen or the strategy on the side, or wellness practitioners. We have a shared passion. Anybody, I will say,
and you're helping them scale their businesses?
Helping them scale businesses, helping them find ultimately personal alignment in what they're doing. Are they doing what they really want to be doing? Why are they doing what they're doing? They can't just be motivated by money.
Right.
They cannot just be motivated by money. Money follows the energy. And then helping them scale and sustain, and helping them do that from a place of joy and empowerment instead of punishment and pain.
Well, that's outstanding. So the segue to my next question will be really easy.
Okay.
So we're obviously having the Business Hop. It's a mentorship-based event. Tell us about some of the realness that comes along with being a founder, and some of the things that you're coaching people that's out there, that's a pain, that's a struggle. Like, what advice do you have to those that are struggling and going through the pain of being an entrepreneur today?
Going through the pain. I think my number one advice, this is coming from someone who quit their job on a whim as a single mother of 2 kids. Like, I had every reason to say, no, I can't do that. Look at your beliefs. Like, look at your beliefs. Look at how you arrive at your beliefs. And bet on yourself. Don't be dumb, but bet on yourself. Like, you have 100% batting average in the story of your own life. You've never let yourself fall. And if you are very clear and aligned on what you want to do and why, your why, like what really motivates you, not what looks good, not what society will be like, oh, good job, but like what moves you, and you go do that, it's undeniable. It's too easy to get lost in the sauce looking to other people about what should I do, it's figure out your thing and go balls to the wall.
Totally.
That's what I tell pretty much anybody I'm with, and it's, you have resources. We are at a day and age where we have resources at our fingertips to figure out how. You just need to figure out, where do you feel alive, and go be there.
Yeah.
Where do you feel alive with integrity, and go be there.
Yeah, I love that. You have a way different approach to founder coaching, venture capital, like the holistic, energy-based, like conversation approach. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Like, how did you come about that? Did you have mentors that kind of got you to the mindset that you have today, or tell us about some of your mentors?
In a way, I do have mentors. And I'm a part of a couple founder groups. I think some of it is, seeing who's been successful and who hasn't, and what parts of their journey actually they thought were going to break them and was like the catalyst.
Yeah.
And I think some of it was how I had to grow and evolve when I was younger, and it was like, okay, you have to shift your whole life due to this health condition, and nobody knows how to support you. So you got to figure it out. And so it's the fact that I couldn't afford to just sit in this like limited belief, or else like I would be depressed. I would be like, life wouldn't be worth living, is how that felt at that time.
Totally.
And so I think because I understood, okay, you don't like this, change your opinion about it, change your judgment against it, let it go, release it, figure out a new way, go get energized by this, because you got a life to live, and you get to control if it's going to be up here or down here.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of just comes back to me being younger and being sick and feeling like, okay, my hands are tied, what do I do? Well, break the shackles, let's go.
Let's go. I love that.
Yeah.
A lot of the folks that we communicate with on a frequent basis, especially as we're ramping up our hops, which are quarterly, they say that like they don't know where to get started, they don't know where to find mentors, they don't know how to approach them in the appropriate way. What advice can you give them about how to, I guess, manifest or reach out to the right types of mentors to guide them?
I'd say first, understand what you value, and then find people that respect those values. Because ultimately, going and finding people just because they've been successful doesn't mean they're going to help you be successful. You need to find people you can work with and you can align with, and who are actually going to motivate and inspire you, but also who you're going to respect feedback from. I think also figuring out, like, how would you want to be approached? You can't just go landing in 30 people's inboxes on LinkedIn, like
copy and paste.
Yeah, copy and paste, no thank you. But if you can take a moment and show me that you've been intentional, and there's actually a reason you want to connect with me, you think that there is some way that I truly may help you, or you're just interested in my journey because you're in a position where you feel like you're starting to pivot, or you're starting to need to figure out a different way. I would much rather have a message in my inbox that says, yo, I'm a little confused. I'm a founder and I feel like I'm hitting a wall, and I just need to talk about, what your journey was. Like, I'm just curious about what it was.
Totally.
And, I not like hey, I see you're connected to this person, and can you connect me to this person? And can you also be my mentor? It's like, it's the give to get, where it's like, give me your heart and your vulnerability and I'll give you mine.
Yeah, that ties into my next question. What do you feel like founders or the folks that you're mentoring need to look out for, or what do you wish they would do more of? Just tell me a little bit about that.
I think that the number one thing I see with founders is them losing the why they're doing what they're doing. It's very easy to get lost in the numbers and the money and what they want it to turn into and what's going to come with that, the ego, like the ego that comes with that, or what they're eager, or what is feeding their ego with that. And I don't think an ego is a bad thing. An ego is developed to protect us as we grow. However, we can serve it poorly
For sure.
by chasing things that are low vibe.
Yeah.
So I just say, always come back to your heart, how you make decisions, what do you personally value, and the money comes. And also, you'll find if you have these three things, your values, how you make decisions, all of it, you don't really care as much about the money.
Yeah.
Like, that being said, I'm telling everybody, I want
it.
everybody to have money. We all deserve money. But, you heard it here first. Ultimately, when you aren't living in misery, you don't need money to cope. You don't need alcohol to cope. You don't need drugs to cope. You don't need things to regulate you externally because you're at peace and alignment internally. And I think that's where founders get lost, because how can they not? They have people saying, well, pitch me and I might give you investment, or do this and it might, or I don't take you seriously unless you do this with your hair, or you dress this way, or you go hang out with these people. Like, fuck that.
Yeah,
okay?
100%.
No time. Like, I tell everybody, like, I just want to see a little freak in you. I just want to see you. I just want to see who you are.
Yeah, authenticity.
Like, if you look like everybody else, or you're trying to ride on the coattails of everybody else, like, I have no time.
There's like a saying that authenticity has like 100 times higher frequency than love. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know about that one,
You seem
but
like a
I
frequency,
do know.
like,
So I do know about
expert.
frequencies, though. The highest vibrating frequency is that of a rose. Just to be clear.
A rose.
A rose.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like 380 MHz. But with the power of thinking and the power of belief, you can take yourself from around like a 50 MHz to like an 87.
Wow.
And that's big.
Yeah. A rose?
A rose. Go buy
so
them for
weird.
your girlfriend.
I just did.
Okay, I just said it was Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, let's go. Last couple of questions for you. So, what would you tell yourself 10 years ago today?
Slow down. You're not behind. And I would tell myself, don't. So one of my first like real big boss said this to me, and it's kind of along the lines of don't get lost in the sauce, but don't let the tail wag the dog. The dog wags the tail.
Yeah.
And so like just staying true to me, and like we know what's right for us from like an energetic level. When you are asking yourself, should I do this or do that? You know the answers that give you strain, and you know the ones that stress you, and you know the ones that are like, all right, that gives me calm, that lets my shoulders release a bit.
Yeah.
So I think it's just coming back to trust and knowing it's not as complicated as we make it.
100%. Fantastic. Bailey, thank you so much for your time. Bailey's
you.
going to be at the Business Hop. Can't believe it. Already going to be next Wednesday. We'll see you guys there. Any last words for the mentees out there?
Can I bring Bailey?
Yes, please.
My best friend's name is Bailey. By the way, I just realized like
Can
we
I
keep
bring
saying
myself?
Bailey. Can I bring myself?
Third personing myself.
I'm very conceited, apparently. If you haven't gathered anything from this conversation, it's that. Final words. I don't know. Let's grab coffee. I'd love to learn about what some of the people that are coming to this thing are up to.
Love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Appreciate the time.